What's going on, folks? Welcome back to the channel. First day out here on the Rawwr Mantis electric dirt bike, my new bike. This thing has juice. We are at a beautiful scenic location, views of downtown LA in the background. We are at Elysian Park, Los Angeles, California. This is going to be where we give this bike its first test. I rode it up here and I can already tell it's extremely capable. So if you missed my video where I went to go pick this up, I didn't really give it a proper ride, so today that's going to be the goal. Real quick, I want to show you guys some of the things that stand out to me on this bike compared to the Surron. And first off, I want to preface this by saying that I know you guys are ready to defend the Surron tooth and nail. That's fine. This is just a new option. It's something that's bigger, it's different. So here's a couple things. First off, the first thing you notice on this bike is just the motor. On the Surron, the motor is kind of tucked away under the frame and kind of hidden by the battery. Here it is front and center. I already got some dirt in there just by getting up here. No longer going to be able to enjoy the bike being brand new. It is going to get dirty as of today. I think it has the same shock. I know the Surron also has KKE rear suspension. This one has a rebound switch, which the Surron doesn't have easily accessible. It also has one, obviously, but you can quickly adjust your rebound speed right here. I actually don't know what type of front suspension is on this. I'm assuming it's also a KKE, but as far as those two things, the only main difference is obviously the look, how this S shape. I'm not sure what the significance behind that is, but they told me it took them quite a while to develop this frame. Very cool looking. And also you have this gigantic fender, which I know not everyone's gonna be a fan of. It's fine. I've already gotten my leg caught on it, just like trying to get on the bike, getting it out of the car. So that's something. Big rear tire, much bigger than you've seen stock on pretty much any other electric dirt bike. I don't know exactly what size this tire is. I know it's a 19-inch rim. This tire is pretty thick compared to pretty much anything else you're finding on a stock electric dirt bike right now. The rear tire is juicy, which is, most people will upgrade the rear to a 16 because it gives you this thicker tire. Obviously this is heavy. It's really heavy compared to the tires that come on the Surron. I'm sure that composes some of the weight also. I have not weighed it myself, but I think this bike is approximately 35 pounds heavier than the Surron. You do feel that weight difference when you're lifting the bikes up. After lifting this up, I realized how light the Surron actually is. You can just kind of like toss it around. I do know that that is not something that most people are concerned about. I am one of the few people that actually care about the weight of these bikes. Most people, a weight difference of 35 pounds is not going to matter to the majority of people who are interested in buying one of these. Other than that, it's brand new, so I still have to bed the brakes in. I can't really give you too many thoughts on that. We're going to do that as we ride along today. You guys saw the headlight. It has two modes. Has like a high beam mode, which is super cool if you're riding at night, which I never do. The pegs that it comes with are really nice. Overall, this bike just has a presence to it. When you whip out the Surron, people are like, "Ooh, that thing's cool." This is, it's just has a little bit more presence to it because it's a larger bike. I mean, just now when I took it out of the car, 3 different people stopped me before I could even get to here and asked me, "What is that thing?" Which happens sometimes still with the Surron, but I feel like, you know, it's kind of like people understand what it is or they just don't care as much. But this, the bigger a bike, the more people are gonna like want to ask you about it, obviously. So be prepared for that. If you do like having conversations about your stuff, people are going to ask you about this bike. Anyways, we're gonna get started on the ride and I'm gonna give you guys thoughts as we go. Hey, how you doing? Of course, if you guys want to check out this bike, it is going to be the first and only link in the description. And with that said, let's get the ride started. Okay, folks, here we go. First actual big boy ride. Here's another thing. If you're in sports mode, this thing will just, it'll just shoot from under you straight up. It'll just start burning out. I feel like when you're on sports mode in the Surron, it is a little bit more controllable. Oh my god. Another thing is the seating position is a little bit further back. Let's see, where we're gonna go. Where's this little path we can go to? Yeah, I'm not too crazy about that throttle, how it just kind of like punches you. All right, let's get a quick top speed. We're going downhill, so. Oh my God. Another thing is we got to bed the brakes in, so we're not going to go too crazy. Quick 40. This is in miles per hour, by the way, just so you guys know. Actually going to hit this quick path right here. Oh. The bike feels so solid though. I mean, it's big, so that means it feels quite a bit sturdier when you're just cooking. Like this, you hit 40 without even really realizing you're going that fast. The guys at the warehouse told me this is kind of designed more to be taken on like a dirt bike. You know, it's supposed to be, I mean, first off, they said strictly do not take it on the streets, which you guys know. I'm going to take it on the streets. Check this out, beautiful view right here. Okay, a path we could take. Dude. Okay, let's try Eco 3 out. It's a little bit more like of an even delivery of power on Eco 3. Sport is just like, the throttle is so twitchy. The second you're gunning it, you are moving. This goes to nowhere. Let's see, where can we go from here? Another thing is, someone pointed out, the turn signal thing is there. They're going to come out with a kit apparently, so that you can have turn signals. But as it stands, there are no turn signals. I do not want to go down this gravel path. It's not where we're trying to go. Perfect time to test out the reverse. Whee! The reverse is crazy. That is a cool function. Wait, okay, yeah. It goes from reverse and then it goes to park, and then you have to squeeze the brake to get back going. Go ahead and throw it into sport mode to get up this hill. So the motor is 7,500 watts, which puts it at 1,500 more watts than the Surron Lite BX. But the thing is, oh my god, we're sweating. They have the same size battery, so this thing is 60 volt, 35 amp hour battery. So you guys know a lot of the juice when you're pinning it in sport mode comes from your battery. You know, a real fast battery will be a 72 volt, 55 amp hour, something like that. So the torque is not really there, but I do believe the high speed is a little bit higher than what you get on the Surron. Let's see what we get right here. We're going 50. That's crazy. That's actually like fast. 50 is going, oh my god. That could have been the end of my life right there. Talk about light flashing before your eyes, huh? Well, what the f is that about? Okay, well, here's the thing that I am going to immediately get off the road. That was actually horrifying. Dude, that was a faces of death moment, straight up. That guy was in a giant SUV. I feel like I gotta watch my back now. Obviously, he wasn't coming for me, but dude, here's the thing. At this park, people come here and they get wasted. They get wasted and then they have to drive out. So that is where you get that situation. But I just got, we're gonna try and dip down here. Oh my god, dude, that was faces of death. Let's see if we can make it down here with these. Brakes work. Okay, we're in Eco 3. Even in Eco 3, you can't spin the tires. Bro, that shook me. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna continue on with what just happened after that just happened. Like, I can't just pretend that that was fine. That was actually the most scared I've probably been on a bike, on one of these electric bikes so far. Oh. Okay, I can kind of get around in the dirt going up hills. Oh, it's just that throttle. I wish there was a little bit. Sick Miata right here. A car beat or something? I wish it was a little bit more linear when you're in sport mode. I wish it didn't just immediately yank you. The Surron's kind of like that too. When you're in sport mode, it's just gonna start pulling you. But it feels a little bit more dramatic on this bike, maybe because the motor's a little bit more powerful. Maybe that's something they could tune in the future, but I also am just not used to it, so maybe once I get used to it, it'll be a little bit more, you know, something I'm familiar with. I am just going in random directions. This looks like there's a gigantic tree that I'll have to duck under. Can we reverse out of here? Testing the reverse function. Yeah, kind of. This is a decent incline. This is definitely not what it's meant for. It's meant for like probably reversing in much less precarious situations, but it did get us. Oh my god. Okay. Sport mode needs some tweaking. I'm gonna go ahead and say that. It needs tweaking. See, now we're in Eco 3 and we almost don't have enough juice to just get up this hill. But in sport mode, it would lead us to just be burning out non-stop. It needs to react a little bit more. I don't know what it is, but it needs to like, the percentage of throttle you have should be tied more to how much you're twisting the throttle, if that makes sense. You know, it's still a little bit too like yeah, this thing is not jumpable either like the Surron is. You can at least kind of like bounce around on it a little bit, but this I don't know. I mean, let's see. Oh, that guy was not happy about me being on the road. All right, full on sport mode. So we have learned that this thing can easily hit 50 miles an hour. Let's see full brake test going downhill. Not bad. Definitely new brakes, better than the Surron for sure. And again, my Surron is not something I can judge with because right now the brakes on that thing are just shot. That is my most immediate repair I need to do on that bike. So obviously the only thing I really have to compare this to is my Surron. That's why I've mentioned it like 10 times already, but obviously that's what 100% of people who are looking at this are going to be cross-shopping it with. So it definitely makes sense to compare the two as much as possible. And it's pretty clear what the benefits are of this. You get a bigger bike. I feel much more comfortable on this. There's more seating position. I can be all the way back here if I wanted to for some reason. You could probably much more easily throw somebody on the back if you wanted to do that, you know, impress a girl or something. I don't recommend that whatsoever, but you know, whatever floats your boat. We're going down to this parking lot. I don't know if it's even accessible, but... And then of course, you can do the usual upgrades like change the tires, but the thing is, you don't really have to. The tires are already sick. I think they designed this, they know that the Surron has got an incredible aftermarket everything. You can just buy just about everything. And you can easily get the price up to way past this in no time. So that's why they position this to be not quite as expensive. So you're paying about a $700 premium over the Surron, but you get more juice. The battery is the same, which I know a lot of people are going to be, you know, that's going to be the only real point of contention, is the fact that the battery is equal and you have a heavier bike, which in theory would mean less range, right? That's what would make sense. I guess we'll do a full-on range test, even though my Surron has a few mileage, to compare the two, see which one has better range. But I do want to point out the fact that I don't really know anybody who ever takes their Surron from 100 to 0 every single time they ride it. Most people will get to like 50%, 40%. Obviously there's group rides where you do want that extra bit of juice when you're in sport mode and pinning it the entire time. So I'm not going to pretend that it is not a concern that people have. Obviously people want the most range, they want the most power, they want the most everything. And what I feel like this is going to be a great compromise is for if you want a slightly bigger, more controllable bike with a bigger tire in the rear. That's the main thing that I'm stoked about. I feel way more confident in the dirt with that bigger tire. It does make a huge difference. And you know, you also have some other creature comforts like, oh, this display is super nice. You have high beams and turn signals in the future if you do plan on like commuting on your bike. That's a whole nother discussion that I don't really, you know, get into, but get past these folks. You have the reverse, and you have the three eco modes is one thing that I do find to be really cool. I don't know exactly how much use most people will get out of it. For all the things that are not quite game changers, my favorite thing is the 3 eco modes though. Like one is very underpowered, but it'd be great if you want someone to like hop on your bike for the first time. Like look, we're barely doing anything. You couldn't even, we'd probably make it up this hill. We'd barely, so we kick it up to 2 and we can slowly get up this hill. This would be perfect for like a big kid learning how to ride, or like, you know, someone who just doesn't know how to ride these bikes and you want to hop them on it for the first time. The eco mode assists are really cool. That is probably my favorite part of the random things they put in that I haven't seen anyone else consider yet. Other than that, I mean, the suspension feels good, the bike feels good, and it looks really great. I mean, there's no denying this bike is beautiful. I personally, I guess some people are divided about the design, but I love it. I love the fact that the motor is like exposed in there and you can see it. I like how the rear linkage looks. I like how the shock is black compared to bronze on the Surron. I don't know. I'm a fan of the colorway. I'm big on how things look. And function is also very important. Obviously the tire, I like that they put a guard around the sprocket. You know, if I don't know, I guess that's just a nice forethought for them to do. Lots of little things that add the weight up to this bike. They add, like, you know, the weight starts to go up, but at the same time it doesn't feel like an absolute tank. It is definitely a bit heavier than the Lite B, but it's not like, oh my god, this thing is like, it's not like a 250 pound dirt bike. So you're still in that gray area where it's like very rideable still. We're back here on the street. Oh, it definitely bombs stairs like a champ. I mean, me personally, I'm just stoked to have a brand new bike. There's nothing better than feeling how a brand new bike feels. It's just, it's the best. I do want to try some hill climbs right here. This street is sketchy. Sport mode definitely pulls. We started at 92% battery. We're now on 82%. Still pulling just fine. I'm sketched about even going back to the car. Every car I see coming around the bend, I'm like, oh my god, hopefully they see me. The one time I choose to not wear my highlighter hoodie too. Oh well. Anyways, we're gonna start making our way back. Initial impressions, very good. And by the way, they're not paying me to ride or film these videos either. So they did give me the bike, but usually I get the bike and I get paid money to talk about the bikes that I ride. So just full transparency. I'm gonna take this trail right here, see where it goes. Anything to avoid the road right now. Oh. Yeah, I gotta say I'm a big fan of the seating position though. I feel much less like I'm cramped up. Like sometimes in a Surron I feel like I'm a little too close to the handlebars. This is much more relaxed and chill. Alright, as we get back onto, that was a nice little shortcut. Oh. These tires are so new, they're kind of like just a tad bit slippery, but I can already feel the benefit of the bigger rear tire. Like it's catching me from slipping in situations. Even coming out on the pavement right there, I felt it like dig in when I pinned it coming out of that turn. So that's nice. I had to be careful coming around these blind turns like that. After that, dude, that was seriously horrifying. That shit happened in slow motion for me, dude. He was just coming dead at me. Crazy. You know, it's funny too, I'm always very careful on this turn because I come right here on my road bike all the time. That's what inspired me to come to this spot today to do this video. This turn is the most deadly turn in this entire park. It's like that one turn on Mulholland Drive where everyone crashes. It's just like, it's blind and it's very sweeping. And then people come here and they get drunk and they just like, they're on both sides of the road. So that's something you always got to be careful of. Bike sounds good too. I know people had gotten used to that, the belt sound that my Surron was making, and this is, it definitely sounds different. It sounds much smoother. It's still got some punch to it. I like the sound of these things strutting though. I would not like it to be entirely silent though, so I'm happy it still has some type of noise. Uphill, top speed about 37 miles an hour, not bad. That was a pretty steep hill too, so I'd say the grade is probably like 13%. All right, folks, there you have it. The first real outdoor ride on the Rawwr Mantis. I can't get that scene out of my head of going around that turn. It's just to think that if I was going, if I got there a second earlier, or he was coming a second later, that could have been GG's for your boy, man. It's crazy to think how stuff works like that, but that's also why I typically avoid riding on tight roads like that. Crazy. Anyways, first ride on the Mantis. Like it a lot. First link in the description where you can find out more about the bike and buy one if you're interested. This bike is very nice. It's everything you would like about a Surron, but just kind of turned up a little bit, you know, just a notch turned up, which explains the slightly higher price, but you do get what you pay for. It's not like it is a bad value compared to the Surron. I think it's an excellent value for what it is, and it just looks simply badass. So those are my first thoughts. I'll be doing a few more videos on this bike, so stay tuned. If you're interested, feel free to get in the comments, let me know any questions you have. That's it. As always, thank you for watching. Stay safe. See you guys in the next video very soon. Peace out.